that's the finished product we want to put out for our time well meant family unit.
Right. Family unit. Yeah, we're a family. It's a weirdly wild and wacky family unit, but you're here regardless, and you're part of this family.
I mean, if you're tuning in, kind of stuck here, just like a normal family. Once you're in, you're stuck.
You're stuck. Hello, and welcome back to Time Moment, the podcast about the particularly paranormal phenomena that your cat experiences at 3 a.m. If you're new to the podcast, or if you're a returning listener, we like to talk about a couple different things. We like to talk about the goings-ons of the internet. We like to talk about video games. And then, of course, we sort of wrap all that sort of stuff back in with our most important topic, which is mental health and how that affects our lives. I am Silas, and I'm joined, as always, by an extra... I guess because of the day, he'd be an extra spooky and spectacular fellow named Kirby. How are you today, my friend?
I'm a bad husband.
Yeah.
According to YouTube. But other than that, I'm doing very well.
Oh my God, yeah. That was we don't often get comments on YouTube, but when we do, we admire them a lot, regardless of if they're good or bad.
I love it. It was because it was a clip of me saying that I was ignoring my wife and playing too many video games.
Yeah.
And we talked it out and we compromised and I spent more time with her. And somebody just says, bad husband.
Just two
Got
words.
me.
Bad husband.
Got me good.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll work on it, folks. I'll try to be better.
Clearly, that person only commented with 2 words, so clearly they don't have that alpha communication that you have with your wife. You know what I mean?
That's right. You have to have the particularly paranormal phenomena.
That intro is so hard to do. For everyone else, you guys won't see the way that we do intros. At least the way that because you've done some too. So anytime that we do them, it's like you just see the finished product. You get to see us nailing it. You don't get to see the 5 minutes of pain of us just trying to work through whatever insanity is going on.
And what you just said is accurate. We nailed the last 10 episodes. You won't find a stutter. You won't find a voice crack. We probably do them, what would you say, like 12 to 15 times per episode? We're just repeating it until we nail it, because that's the finished product we want to put out for our time well meant family.
Damn right.
Unit.
Damn right. Family unit. Yeah, we're a family. It's a weirdly wild and wacky family unit, but you're here regardless, and you're part of this family.
I mean, if you're tuning in, kind of stuck here, just like a normal family. Once you're in, you're stuck.
You're stuck. Oh gosh. Oh man. So what's been going on, man? What's been on your mind? I tell you what, it's been I need to say it every single time. It's like it's become a tradition now. We do this every 2 weeks, so there's always stuff that we miss.
What happens in 2 weeks?
A lot.
Oh my God.
There is something that I did want to talk about. It's funny because I mentioned a couple things that I wanted to talk about. But one of the things that I don't remember I don't think we got to talk about this last episode, because episode 10 was, we did the special kind of not so normative podcast. It was we covered lolcows, which we have a little special section there at the end of the podcast. Stay tuned. We'll go over that later. But we didn't talk about anything that we did in those past 2 weeks. Like, I feel like we both had pretty busy weeks. I know I had a really busy week. The week that we recorded, I should say. There was so much stuff that I want to talk about, just we didn't.
I'm sitting here thinking the only things that have really occurred in my life that are worth notating are I had a little medical thing that we're not going to get into. I'm all good. Don't worry.
We're good.
And
I was thinking about the Halloween party.
Oh yeah, we had a Halloween.
We did the Halloween party.
Silas came to my house for it's not a Halloween party though.
It's pumpkin painting party.
It's a particularly paranormal, phenomenal pumpkin painting party. It's this cool thing that my wife does. She wanted to have a Halloween party, but she wanted to like do something different and kid friendly. Mm-hmm. So we have people over at my house and we paint these little plastic pumpkins. Yeah. And it's a good time. Just like, I don't know, probably have people in my house for like 8, 9, 10 hours or something. Have a few drinks. Put on like kid-friendly scary movies in the beginning, and then kid kind of filter out by 7, 8, 9 p.m. or whatever, and then put on the real good horror movies. And it's a good time. And I drank way too much.
Did you? I left about 6, 7 because I was already. I guess to kind of go into what my week was like that week. I did some work that involved being around a ton of people, and then earlier in that week I went to the state fair, the Texas State Fair, and that was like an overwhelming amount of people. Where like we went to the state fair and we got there at like 11, and then by like 1 o'clock it was like there's way too many fucking people here. And then so I was already like socialized out by the time we got to the party, which was on a Saturday. So when I was there, I was just kind of like, me and my girlfriend were just like on the couch, and I was like I wasn't necessarily like, I was glad to be there. It was fun and I had a great time, but it was like I was also kind of like, I'm counting down the hours till it's appropriate for me to leave. Like I'm ready to just not be around anybody and just lay in bed and rot away.
I understand completely. I wish my house was bigger because my wife invites so many people.
Dude, yeah,
many people.
She has so many friends. I feel like every time I meet people that are friends with your wife, it's like, I have faces I'm completely unfamiliar with now. And that's what happened at that party too, which is like, I've never met any of you.
Been with this woman for 6 years and she still whips out new friends on me. Just pulls them out of her pocket.
It was crazy too, because one of the friends that she knew was also friends with my girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh, that's just wild." Yeah,
small world
we live in. But yeah,
the pumpkin painting party was fun. Mm-hmm. Other than that, though, dude, Satisfactory has just consumed my life for the past like 6 weeks now. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
I know. I've seen y'all play. It's funny because I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll re-download it and play," and then the Factorio DLC came out, and all of my gears shifted towards that.
So you got it?
Not yet. I'm gonna get it this week, though. I am gonna get it because the idea behind it. So another friend of mine and I, we started playing. Justin, shout out Justin. We started playing because he just got it. He just got the game. It was his first time playing.
Never played Factorio.
Never played. It was so funny because he sent me a screenshot of like his first factory, and it's like this little he's got like a drill over here. He's got like another drill over here, and it's all like interconnected. It's just so funny. It's really cool to see like someone who's just like never played the game before, and then I join him and I'm like, this is what we're gonna do, and it was great. But so he's gotten into it a little bit. And so I was like, cool, well, we'll play up until the point where we get to, so the DLC is called Space Age. And I was like, cool, we'll play till we get to the Space Age. And then I was reading online, like, well, there's some stuff that you can get in between then that's involved in the DLC that you might want to pay attention to before, because otherwise it messes up, all of your efficiencies and like all the stuff that you're crafting. So I was like, all right, maybe I will get it, because I was going to wait a little bit to kind of make sure that, I had people to play with, because I've beaten the whole game by myself, but it's not something that I'm like, to me, it's like, it's a lot more fun when you have people, you know what I mean? It's a lot more fun when you can do some stuff together. But man, I still do, there's a part of me that still does want to go back to Satisfactory since it's come out in 1.0, because I haven't played it for since like COVID, since like 2021 maybe, or like 2020. So
wow. Yeah, it's I can relate to everything that you just said. I wouldn't have been able to before because I've never played Factorio. I've never played a factory game, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But man, Satisfactory, I thought it looked cool like when it came out 1.0, and I was gonna try it no matter what. And then I got it, and I tried to get all the boys to play, and everybody's like, I don't know, it looks kind of stupid. So I ended up playing through like up to phase 4 out of 5 by myself.
Oh, damn, nice.
And then finally TJ gives in. He's like, all right, I'm going to get it. Let's play. So I made it to 4 out of 5, started over with TJ. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of that thing you were describing like with Justin. I didn't help TJ too much. I let him I let him spread his wings and fly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's kind of building stuff goofy. Yeah. And then anyways, we built it all up. We built that game, or beat that game. And then we started a new one.
Oh, damn.
And we've been playing the fuck out of it some more. God, it's so good, man.
Yeah, hell
I don't know how you would describe it to anybody. I'm building a factory.
Yeah.
What are you doing that's fun?
Yeah.
Turning this ore into steel beams, and then those beams into a motor. Like, what's not to understand?
What's not to love? It's great. I think the funny thing is, too, is like, it's you're right. It is really hard to describe to somebody like, it's not necessarily about like, the gathering of the resources or anything, but it's like seeing the end product and seeing all the process it goes through and setting it up to be efficient, and that sort of stuff is just fun. I don't know, like, it's definitely not for everybody. I know that these are both pretty like fairly niche games. Like I'd say like Factorio, Satisfactory, and then a game like Dyson Sphere Project, which are all three games like kind of within the same realm, with their own like separate like interests. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, I don't know why they just tickle something in my brain that I'm like, I just like building stuff and solving little problems like this. Like, I don't like solving other problems in other games. Like, I hate puzzles, but I love this type of thing where it's like, all right, how am I going to get these resources to over here? Or I need to boost up, this production of this. So how am I going to, reorganize everything? I don't know. It's something about it, man. It's great. I love it.
That's exactly the thing for me is the problem solving.
Yeah.
Man, I I literally use this line in fucking job interviews, dude. Like, I love problem solving. It gives me, a great sense of self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's a good one.
It really does, man. Like, dude, I love it. I love it when you got to solve a problem and it's like hard to figure out. And then you do solve it and you're sitting there looking at your spaghetti factory, but you're like, that shit works.
Yeah.
That's cool.
the funniest thing that I've seen is because I'm a big spaghetti factory guy. I love it. And then playing with your cousin Chris, and then him like showing me his factory. He's way more organized. He's got all his blueprints together. He's got his mall, and like everything is like, everything goes in place. And I'm like, I'm just gonna build some stuff, and it's gonna be crazy. And it's just, it's always just, I love it. I love it regardless.
That's kind of the thing that we're doing differently. Whereas that first game when TJ first played, first playthrough, he's just learning, and I just let him go. And like, as you get up and through the tiers, he learned a lot more. So our factories kind of started going from spaghetti on the ground and a more layered box, And then in the new one, we're like, okay, we're gonna start in the desert, and we're gonna make the whole thing clean, not too clean,
right,
very clean. You'll have
very
to, you'll have to re-download and just pop on and just see this coal factory that I built, dude. It's beautiful.
Hell yeah. Dude, it's such a fun game. So satisfying, I will say. And then Factorio 2 is like one of those games that it's fun, but you have to understand like it's gonna be like a long time going. Like my solo playthrough was like, I want to say like 80 hours or something like that. It may be a little less, but it was a process, you know what I mean? And I also did it on a randomizer, which was really dumb. But it was fun. Like it was basically like all the researches were randomized as I unlocked them. But it was fun.
I've thought about trying Factorio, but just the look of it just kind of throws me off.
You would be surprised. It's one of those games that like when I first saw it, I was like, this looks cool, but also like looks kind of weird and kind of jank. But I think once you start playing and you realize what you can do with the game, oh man, it makes it so fun. Like you don't realize the limits, because not only do you have like the base game, but the way that the mods work in that game. So I was playing one of the mods that's called Space Exploration. Not to be confused with the current DLC that just came out called Space Age. But Space Exploration was a huge expansion to the game that added like 400 or 500 hours worth of content, basically, where you had like an infinite like generated universe that got spawned. You had like, you went and built your spaceship and all these sort of things, and like you got to travel around. But obviously like the whole point of the game was like you have to get to the point where you can like get up into space and then get resources into space to then build it out. It was nuts, man. And I got pretty far. I played with the like Taylor and I want to say Captain Crisis, our friend Ben played.
Yep. He's popped in and played some Satisfactory with TJ.
And he's played a lot of
Dude, his save is nuts, dude. He has this train that goes around the whole map.
Yeah, he's a hardcore player for sure when it comes to Satisfactory. That's why I think I mentioned it to you about him playing it.
I love just talking to him while he's building. He's just like slow and steady wins the race. He's not in any rush.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's amusing.
I
might be much more open to give Factorio a try once Satisfactory sheen wears off.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, man, where like I'm usually pretty open to I mean, I have to like kind of be in the mood for it. I think the DLC has definitely revitalized that like want to play. Because for me, and I guess now that you've beaten Satisfactory, you might be able to relate to this. For me, the early game of Factorio really fucking sucks, in my opinion. Like the early part of the, having to gather by hand, having to kind of like, you don't have all the cool fun stuff that you're used to in like kind of the mid to late game.
Yeah.
That sort of shit, I hate it.
I think that the very first time I booted that game up, it was so much fun to just the way it opens everything up to you, and you just slowly learn and figure it out as you go. You know, you do this thing wrong 10 times, and on the 11th time, you're like, oh, holy fuck, I can do it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but then in that regard, once I started over with TJ, the thought I had was, I just move so slow. I just want to get to the cool shit. I need to get to the jetpack. I need to get to the cool, fast running legs. So that's kind of all it is. But I think once you play that first playthrough and you learn that you need that shit, then when we started this third one, we rushed that shit. We had jetpacks so quick, and then like we're just plowing through everything else and just having a good old time. Right. We were actually I would stream on Discord. We watched like Pineapple Express while we were building our factory together.
Yeah.
It's
those are great games to like do other shit in the background, you know, like, cause you can, for me, and a lot of times, I don't know why this ends up happening. Whenever I play Factorio, it's basically like I become like the factory foreman if we're playing with like a group of friends, where I'm like, okay, we need like this, and this. And basically what I do is like, cause Factorio is, it's a very complex game, and there's a lot that can be like put into it, but it's also like, if you know how to build like the simplest factories, or like the simplest sections of a factory, it can be pretty easy, because really all it is just placing all the puzzle pieces together to then make one giant factory, right? And so the idea behind it the idea that I have, or the approach that I have, I should say, is, you know, I will say, okay, so let me go in my brain, what do we need to make next? What's the process? I'll look at the research. What are we trying to get to? Usually it's like a research. Well, to get to certain researches. No.
You really need a clipboard for this.
I probably should. But I usually will, a little hard at, you know what I mean? Foreman, big letters.
With the number 4.
4, man. I usually will just kind of go, you know, what do we need? How do we get from point A to point B in terms of like research or whatever? And so I'll just assign people like, hey, listen, up here in this section of the map, there's a lot of bugs that need to be wiped out. So here, take some tanks and go wipe them out, right? And then also over here, we need to increase steel. So why don't you go ahead and make another steel production over there? Or, you know, over here. So, and just kind of like just assign people tasks while I'm just like rocking back and forth in my chair like, oh my God, what the fuck do we need to do next? Oh, Christ.
How many people can play at once in Factorio?
Like 100.
Fucking really?
Yeah. I don't think there's a hard limit. I know that. I think
interesting.
I've seen like community servers. Obviously, you know, you have to have the fucking ability to host a server like that. Yeah. But I've seen community servers. Yeah, they're like hundreds of people, because you have to understand too, is like the map. I guess I would need to show you. The map is gigantic. It's like, I can't remember the number of tiles it is, because essentially it's like square tiles that are just kind of lined up. But the map is absolutely fucking huge. It's a giant, and like there are people who make worldwide like sized or not, I shouldn't even say worldwide. It's basically like, but they're huge. Basically try and make like trains from like one end of the map to the other, and it takes you like, you know, 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Shit.
Yeah. Just like you're cruising. Like you're just like, all right, train's going. It's going at max speed. I'm sitting here and we're just waiting. You know what I mean? Like 5 minutes to get to each station. Yeah. And so that sort of stuff is always interesting to me. Just the size of the game. And then you add on the addition of like, oh, well, now there's other planets. Like, oh, it's crazy. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought. It's great. Okay. I love it.
You were talking about trains and you lost your train of thought. I'll take over from here.
Yeah.
2 things. Number 1, for anybody watching on YouTube, I didn't just try to slap my camera at this goddamn fly. Number 2, we only had, in Satisfactory, you can only have 4 players. So that's really crazy to me to have way more than that. But I mean, that sounds really cool and fun, to be honest. But
yeah.
Playing with TJ, he just kind of wanted to handle the main factory business, and I would just supplement like anything he needed and focus on power. So like I don't know, I find it fun to build cool little power plants, and I'm like, cranking out 20 gigawatts or whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then TJ's like, all right, we need to build this thing. I need more steel. Like, you got it, boss. Give me a minute. Building a road, building a train, whatever we need here.
Yeah. That's so much fun. Again, usually it ends up being a debate. Like I'll usually have like I'll dedicate one person to. I usually get in charge of power, because I know how to set all that sort of stuff up. You know, if I need someone to expand upon what's already built, then I can, you know, dedicate someone to that. But like I usually have one person dedicated completely to Liquid because Liquid's such a pain in the ass.
Is
And then, I'll have one person dedicated to like, getting steel, or like I usually do the trains for obvious reasons. You know what I mean?
train guy.
Train guy. So I usually do the trains. I actually really like trains in Factorio too. And also just the amount of automation that can be done. But no, yeah, it's the amount of players. And I don't think that we've ever had more than like 4 or 5 people play at a time. It's a lot of fun though, man. It is so much fun. Excuse me. And it's one of those things where like I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't have expected it unless I had played it. Because when I first played it, I was like, this game kind of sucks. You know what I mean? And I was lucky because I want to say when I started playing it, I think I had like Jesse, our buddy Jesse, play, and then Taylor, and it just like started being this thing, and like we were like, it looked like all of our factories always looked like shit, and it was always just a disaster. But it was also it was just fun. Yeah, it was just great.
Man, okay. Yeah, I might be sold on that. I don't know how my wife's going to feel about it. She's already on the fence about Satisfactory. Spend a lot of time playing that.
Dude, yeah. Well, and I know that fucking it's one of those games that especially once you start modding, you'll just dump hours, man. Well, you'll dump hours into the game. It's such a time sink. Because you think like, oh, well, I'm just going to expand this one little section, and then it becomes this massive thing.
But it's like the ADHD cleaning your house. All right, I'm gonna go over here and increase this. Oh shit, I gotta fix that over there. Oh look, I forgot to connect this over here. Okay, while I'm over here, I'll add this water pump or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man, I love it so much though.
Kick-ass.
Yeah, hell yeah. Love factory building games. Speaking of just having kind of a weird obsession, this is something that this is one of the 2 things that I want to talk about, funnily enough, was getting obsessed over things. I was curious about, I think that both you and I are pretty addicted gamers. You've been playing Rocket League for how many hours now?
How many hours? Like 3,100 or so.
3,100, yeah. I have like my most played game right now, I think it'd probably be Overwatch. I think I'm at like 2,400. But obviously I have multiple like 1,000-hour games. Like, Rocket League is at like 1,600. Destiny is like it's like 1,400 or something like that. Fucking ugh. But just like this weird, obsession over stuff that like I get really attached to stuff. Like when I was role playing, that's another one too. Like I have like 700-800 hours in like role play. But when I was role playing, I got really addicted to it, and I got very obsessive, and it really affected me. And I was curious about if there are games like that sort of affect you, where maybe like you hop in the game and like you have just a bad time playing, and all of a sudden it just like affects your whole day. I know for me right now, Deadlock is kind of that, which is why I've been kind of sparing with how I play Deadlock, where I'll get into a game and I'm at the point now where like I've played ranked. I know like I'm pretty decent at the game. And I have fun playing it, and I have characters that I enjoy playing it, but I have to understand like every time that I play the game, it's like 30 to 45 minutes, even up to an hour in some like the longer games. Like I'm committing that time, and it could end in just tragedy and me like being like, this just ruins. Like let me give you an example. I had like an hour of time to kill before we started recording, and I was like, I know the one thing I'm not going to do, which is play fucking Deadlock, because if I lose that game, it will set the pace for the rest of my night, right? So I was curious if
win, it could be the best podcast we've recorded.
No, yeah, true. But I don't want to flip that coin. That's why I just played some Helldivers, because I was like, all right, I know I'm going to win at Helldivers. I'm going to kill bugs and have fun.
If at some point in the next however long this episode is, it starts going downhill in quality, we start fucking up, whatever, we'll just scrap all this. Then you go play a game of Deadlock and come back.
Yeah.
Then we'll record that, and whatever happens, happens. Could be good, could be bad.
God, yeah. I don't know. It's ugh.
So feels like you just asked me 2 things there. The first one, definitely, dude, I'll get obsessive about a game like Satisfactory, just pouring time into that. Tarkov has been a huge time sink and kind of an addiction at times. But I think the first thing that actually comes to my mind is music. Man, if I find a new band that I love, I will wear them out. Like to the point where my wife and son get tired of it. Like every time they get in the car with me, I turn on the same band for like weeks at a time. And they're like, okay, come on, Dad, come on. So yeah, I definitely have those tendencies. That happens. Can confirm.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever find it like affecting your life in like? I mean, obviously, like I know we've talked plenty about music affecting us positively, but do you ever have anything like video games affecting you negatively, or ever like kind of dampening your mood, or you know?
The mood dampening part, when I feel like I play Rocket League much more casually than I did in the past at this point. Even though I almost play exclusively ranked games, but I'm just more or less playing for fun at this point.
Yeah.
But when I took it a lot more seriously, it could. Particularly, I remember when the grind first started, where it was like me and our buddies were going to hit champ, or like champ 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was so much time right in between the high diamond level before I hit champ. And those games were really like take a toll on me. And you just want to win so bad. I want to get this thing.
Yeah.
That was also years ago. I don't remember it like, I never beat my wife over it or anything like that.
Everyone did extremes.
Yeah. But these days, Rocket League can sour my mood a little bit. But I'm also a lot quicker to be like, I ain't letting this ruin my mood. This is the last game, boys. Back to the factory.
Yeah. I got that.
And then I definitely like Satisfactory. I've been playing it a fucking lot over the past 6 weeks. And, definitely lost some hours of sleep. Lost many hours of sleep. Definitely probably a time I should have been doing the dishes or something. And I'm playing in the factory. And then wife comes home, kind of like, what the fuck? But those are things you have to keep in mind and try to balance, which can be hard when the factory is just hitting so hard.
When the factory is a calling.
It's always calling.
Oh man, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that about like putting things off because of games, or like being so hyper focused on things that sort of make the outside world kind of fade away. Time definitely passes differently when you're lost in another world. But even then, going back to, because I know that for me, like if I have like a couple I have a really hard time quitting while I'm ahead. Is what I'll say. With Overwatch, that's the best one where like if I lose, I'm like, well, fuck it, I gotta play another one. I don't care that it's like 4 a.m. and I'm dead tired. I'm playing another game, right? Like I have to be really, really pissed off and really, really upset with the game for me to go, you know what? Fuck it, I don't even care, because I do care. I do want to win. I need that rush of dopamine or whatever. I need that. I don't know what it is. I'll play through the tilt every time, as unhealthy as that might be.
Are you specifically trying to hit a goal and you're not getting to the goal that causes the frustration? Because, like I said, for me, it was when I cared so much. It was when I wanted to rank up. That's why it would frustrate me. And now I don't care as much. So it's really easy to say, whatever, next game.
It's more of a personal goal. Like, so with Rocket League right now, what it is like, okay, well, if I score a goal and we win, that's like the two things that I need to meet for me to be like satisfied. Now, mind you, if I have a game where I have like 4 saves and like 3 assists and we win that game, I can end on that. I'm completely fine with that. Yeah. Like that's a big game for me, right? If I get some nice passes and shit like that and set some stuff up, like I'm cool with that, right? And even for like Overwatch, like if I have a game where I'm just dominating the whole game and like I just can't help what my team does, that, it is what it is. I'm not gonna worry about it.
It's a personal victory.
Yeah, it's my own personal victory that I just kicked your whole fucking team's ass, but my tank was feeding for half the fucking game. Same with like Deadlock. Like if I just dominate for the whole game, I can be like, it's okay if I end on a win. But I think that there's something that sort of like clicks in my brain where it's like, I need to remind myself that I'm like decent at video games or something. I don't know what it is.
Prove yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
Trying to feel alive.
So I will painstakingly fight through the mud of defeat over and over again and just bang my head against that wall until I get it, man. And it's something it's definitely affected me. I don't know what that is, what mentally is going on up there that's like, man, maybe I feel I have some sort of inferiority complex, or it's like if I don't win, I feel inferior, which I think it's more just like I just want to have like I want to end on a positive and good note. You know what I mean? I want to end on that like I won, I win, I've beat everyone, I'm the best, type of thing. I don't know.
But as well as I do, it's just the gamer paradox. You can't end on a win, but you can't leave it on a loss.
Yeah.
And then you play until 6 a.m. and hate your life.
Yeah.
And now, these things are related, and this is a somewhat credible mental health podcast. I'm a doctor, according to lore. It plays into together because you stay up too late, you don't get enough sleep, and that will affect your overall mood function life, man. I mean,
absolutely.
straight up, I've definitely been dealing with that a little bit recently with Satisfactory.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a little bit of a shift in the last like month of my life where I used to try to be in bed or at least off games, heading to bed by like midnight, and it's like 1 a.m. just ticked over. Now is probably a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, I mean, you do that for 4 weeks in a row, pretty much every night.
Mm-hmm.
You start feeling just like worn down.
For sure. It's definitely one of those things that I don't know. I've been curious. It's one of those things that I think that you have other countries, like I know that in Korea they have like full on treatment centers for like people with video game addiction. You know, I think in America, I don't know if we really, I'm sure there's specialists and things like that, but we don't really have, anything that dedicated, I think. But it is definitely an addiction. It is something that like I'm usually pretty self-aware about about my vices. And that's one of those things that I am very open and aware, and I don't want to say I'm proud of, but I'm definitely aware of that being a vice, of it having effects on my mental health and having effects on, a lot of things. Like I've experienced, headaches from staring at screens for too long, or, I feel like I have light sensitivity because I sit in like dark rooms all day, just like staring at monitors, and like,
Confirm.
my social life and my social skills. I feel like my social skills are actually really good, funnily enough. But I feel like my social life, in terms of like going out into the world, like I never want to go out, And I feel like that might be affected by, I would rather just sit at home and game. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I love doing. It definitely can kill my motivation and things like that. Like it's definitely had its negative effects on me, but at the same time, it's also had a number of positive effects. I've met a ton of my friends through video games. I've been able to have what I feel like are really incredible and fun experiences. Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out this weekend, the open beta, and I'm super stoked to like do that. It gets me excited, it gets me out of bed in the morning, you know what I mean? To think about like, man, what am I going to play today? What am I going to do today? What kind of games am I going to get into? And that's just, it's just fun, man. Like, so I think being able to see the positives and negatives of both sides, and understanding like if you have that, a little bit of an obsessive personality, like understanding that and being willing to accept that is fine, as long as you can approach it in a somewhat healthy manner, right?
Man, that was really well said. As you were first talking, I was gonna make like a counterpoint, and you just, both sides of the coin, you explained very well there. That's exactly what it is. If man, lost my train of thought. Just a tiny bit there. Yeah. Look.
Talking about finding it. I think it goes back to what we've talked about before, which is like finding balance, being able to understand, like,
yes,
being visible. Okay, got it. Go.
Thank you. I was gonna say, if somebody wanted to read books all day, would you call it an addiction?
I think if it's something that the way that I view addiction is something that you can't go without, right? I think that it's almost like a chemical thing where it's like your brain tells you that you need it. There are things that can affect your brain very physically, but there's also things that you develop as habits that then I feel like transform into addictions, and I don't know the science behind that. I'm not speaking about that like as a professional. It's just kind of how I view
as a doctor, that's how it works.
Yeah. But no, I think that, like if you're reading every day to a point of it affecting your life, I think that it could be considered an addiction. If it's something that like you can't pull yourself away from,
that's exactly it. Because I mean, that's the thing for drugs or alcohol. If you, I think the point in my mind, I've dealt with addictions in my life. If it causes a negative effect and you still continue to do it, it's kind of the factor. Like that makes it an addiction. Because I still drink, mostly on the weekends now. Kudos to me. But on the nights that I don't, it's fine. It's chill. And I'm not punching anybody to get back to the whiskey or anything like that. But I also think that if I started having major, like if I found out I was having a liver issue because of my drinking or something, not that I'm anywhere close to drinking that much, but as an example, if I was told I'm having health issues because of it, it'd be easy for me to stop.
Yeah.
So while I do recognize that it is an addiction, and I do want to drink, regularly, which is not the best thing, but as long as I'm under control and balance it, it's okay. And there are also positive things that come with it. I think video games is going to be more easy thing to ascribe positive attributes to, but with drinking alcohol, I mean, it is a social thing plenty of times,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, you go out to dinner, like I don't see my dad. He lives 2.5 hours away. So a lot of times when we do get together, it's for a dinner and we'll have a beer together, you know?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not all bad, and it's just about the balance.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We've talked about that before, about finding that balance in life and then holding that balance. And
That's the
it's
hard
something that you
part.
just have to, you have to keep up, man, because it's so easy to teeter, one way or the other. It's so easy to be like, man, I am just gonna stay up till 6 a.m. play fucking games, or I am gonna have, I had one drink, but fuck, I'm gonna have a second one, and then I'm gonna have a third one. Finding that balance is definitely hard. Yeah. Cause fuck, man, yeah, I know that for me, I'm someone that struggles with balance. I'm someone that it's hard for me to break away from, I'm able to find it in some aspects. Like I make time to for my girlfriend. I always make sure that I make time for her. I always make sure that I make time for, excuse me, the things that I'm responsible for. If I need to go grocery shopping for myself,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's the
if I
big
need to get
thing.
something done,
If you're completing the things that you need to complete in your life, you're getting to work, you're getting paid, you're taking care of your dog, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If it really starts affecting those things, that kind of goes back to what I was saying of if bad things are happening and you still continue to do it and you're okay with it, that's where it crosses into the addiction world for me.
Okay.
Like hardcore confirmed, that's a bad addiction, I guess to say,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're both addicted to games. That's pretty fair to say. But they also
Absolutely.
bring so much positivity to our lives. I mean, you say that you're a shut-in, but you socialize constantly.
Yeah.
How many you have more friends? Goddamn, like you tell stories and stories and stories. I have this friend and this other friend over here, New Zealand, Australia, England, just all over, man.
It has, yeah. It's definitely connected me with people around the world, which is always, it's odd to take a step back and then view it from the outside of like, holy fuck, like, wow, it's just very odd. It's like, I think about like, my senior year of high school, which I hated high school. I hated all high school. I was bullied mercilessly throughout, middle school and high school. But the one thing that I was able to kind of take away from that was like, obviously it helped me build my personality and my character. But the one thing that I always remember is like my senior year of high school, I remember walking through the halls and like, every class that I walked to, I was never not stopping to like say what's up to somebody or like give someone a hug or like a handshake or like what's up or like, hey, how you doing? What's going on with your day? Like stopping and talking to people, right? Getting into class, so like socializing more. And like it was so crazy because like my freshman year, I was like walk from one class to another, walk from this class to the next class. Like, and I was never, unless I saw like one of my friends from middle school, I wasn't talking to fucking anybody. And usually the people that I were talking to, I didn't want to fucking talk to them because they're being assholes to me, right? So but like by the time I got to my senior year, I realized like, holy shit, like I have all these friends. Obviously I didn't keep a bunch. Like I only have a couple friends from high school, but it was still just interesting to see like, holy shit, like taking that step back and going, wow, like, oh, there's a lot of people that I've interacted with. This is really cool. And then even now, yeah, like thinking about all the friends that I've made online, the people that I've met, in real life and then the vast number of friends that I do my best to try and keep up with. It's just kind of wild to think about. So very odd how life works. You know what I mean?
Thank you, internet.
Yeah, the internet. Yeah.
Honestly,
Speaking of
the balance of internet.
Seriously, yeah, I spend way too much time on the internet. I was gonna say, speaking of odd places to make friends, one of the other things I wanted to talk about. You ever played any mobile games?
Any mobile games?
Yes.
I have the balls game with a Z on my phone, where the little balls just bounce around. That one's cool.
Okay.
And then I have Slay the Spire on my phone.
Okay, hell yeah.
I mean, what else do you need in the world?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, okay, I need to give a little context. So, whenever I go visit my girlfriend, I don't have like a laptop or anything that I take over there. And of course, I'm violently addicted to the internet. Yep. And I started watching Law and Order SVU, which I love that show. It's so great. I started watching from like season 1, like episode 1. Dude, I'm on like season 7. I'm in like the middle of season 7. I love that show.
My wife and I, we're all caught up, so.
Oh,
not
are
that
you?
I've
No
seen,
shit.
Not that I've seen the first 20 seasons, but from where she started when I came in, we're caught up.
I love that shit. Listen, Benson and Stabler, I love it. I know it's just Benson now, but still, I love Benson and Stabler. Anyways, but so while I've been going over there to visit with her, because she's also a gamer, so she's usually busy like crafting or like, sometimes we'll go out and do stuff, but more often than not, we're just like hanging out in the house. But I have been watching the show while I'm at her place. And I was like, man, I want like a mobile game to play, because I had played mobile games before. Some of them have been more like I like games that I can do stuff. I don't want to just like, I had this one mobile game where it's like you do a couple things and then you just wait for stuff to happen. That to me is fucking
idle
boring.
games.
I hate that shit. I want a game where I can do some stuff. Now, mind you, I'm not going to tell you what mobile game I'm playing, because we're not fucking sponsored by them. And if they want to give us some fucking money, then I will say it's whatever game that somebody wants to pay me to say it is, right?
Wait, how are we gonna do this week's like episode guest or sponsor ransom if you don't say the name?
Do you really? Okay.
No, don't say it directly. Say something stupid that rhymes with it. Is it like a smash of blands?
No, it's not. It's called Wast Lore. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how I found this game, and it's gonna fucking kill you. I know. Have you ever watched The Boys?
Yeah.
Anthony Starr.
An episode.
You know Homelander?
Yeah.
Okay. He did a fucking commercial for this game, and I was like, let me try this shit out.
You saw this man, looked at the screen, and said to yourself, "I'm sold."
It was just like one of those random like things where I was like, okay, sure. Well, and the thing about it is that I downloaded like 3 or 4 of these games, because I was like, man, I just want something to do while I'm like at my girlfriend, just hanging out. I want to be able to do something. And little did I know, it soon turned into a wild and wacky experience. So one of the things that I didn't realize is that there was like a clan system within the game, right? And that there was like people that you interact with. And I didn't realize that people were going to take this shit so seriously. Like when I play a game, I commit to it, right? I play the game. I want to win. No. I want to fucking get involved, right? Yeah, it's all gone downhill.
You're lost in the sauce.
Dude, so one of the people that's within the leadership of the clan that I'm in, right?
Oh, the clan leader?
It's one of them. There's like it's like a council.
There's a council.
There's like a council of leadership, right? It's like 10 or 11 people that all like
are they 10 and 11 years old?
No, quite the opposite. They're all older than me, dude. They're like in their like late 30s into their 40s, right? Dude, these people are all characters. I love them so much. They're all really interesting, wacky people. All of them have kids. All of them are like, just older, working their jobs, playing a fucking goofy mobile game. But no, like some of them have gotten like really serious. One of the people that I'm in the clan with is like talking about like making spreadsheets to talk about like, dude, it's wild. Like trying to optimize their gameplay and shit like that. I did not sign up for this. I'm gonna let you know right now. When I first downloaded this shit, I was like, this is the whole like what sparked the whole obsessive sort of thing and being like, because to me, it's a very stupid thing to be obsessed with, right? It's a fucking mobile game, but at the same time, dude, I love it. I'm hooked, man. It's great. So like, there's aspects of the game that are like, there's this thing right now called like server wars, right? So you have basically like at the beginning of the game, you're fighting within your server and like it matches you up with another fucking clan that you fight against, right? But then later on, you unite as a server, like you have your server number and you fight a whole other server. And it's kind of wild. Like just that mechanic is kind of crazy. You can invade them and attack them and shit. It's crazy. Anyways, all of that being said was just like, it's just... Go ahead.
What type of game is this? Like, what are we...
It's supposed to be like a zombie infested war game. But like, you're also like... It's weird because like, the way that they've done this game is actually kind of cool. Because there's a lot of different games mixed into one. You have like if you have those like fucking TikTok ads or whatever. Because I get TikTok... Or I don't know if you get them. But I get like those TikTok ads of like mobile games that like... Clearly this shit doesn't exist, right? You play the game and then it's like nothing like what the ad is advertising, right? Whereas like if they would just make the game that's in the ad, that would fucking kill, right? But like it's one of those games where like that the game that was in the ad is actually in the game, which is kind of weird. There's also like just a couple
Weird
of different
start.
like weird stuff, whatever. But then also there's aspects of the game like it's like base building and you can upgrade everything, and then you have like heroes that you fight with, but then the heroes are like you have to match up like a team of heroes basically, and then that team of heroes is like what you send to fight. And you can go like attack people, but then you can also just like if you want to, you can just like shield up with like a bubble, and you can't get attacked. You just like turtle up or whatever. Obviously, like you join an alliance or a clan or whatever the fuck it is, and you just fucking enjoy the game, man. I don't know, it's weird, but I just didn't think that I would get so like into it. You know what I mean? I thought it was just gonna be like a fucking goofy game. I didn't think I'd be fucking talking to people. You know what I mean? I thought it was just gonna be whatever. Now these people are my friends and shit. It's crazy.
Now you're staying up till 6 a.m. playing this.
Yeah, on my phone, just. You know what I mean?
You got to get one of those mounts so you can like mount it up to your ceiling so you can lay in bed and look up.
It just like comes down right in front.
And then get a little Bluetooth controller for each hand so you can just.
God, yeah. Well, I'm jealous of some of the people that play on like a tablet because I'm like, I would love to have that space to like maneuver around. Oh God. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. When I first discovered that Slay the Spire was on mobile, I immediately downloaded it from my phone. And then I had the exact same thought. Like, it's so much better on an iPad. And then for Christmas, my work literally gave me an iPad. It was perfect.
Holy shit. Hell yeah.
I play Slay the Spire on my iPad all the time.
Hell yeah. I would love, like, just an iPad or something. Just something like a bigger surface, I think.
It's an iPad mini, so it's like the perfect size.
Oh, no. Oh, so it's like a kind of a handheld.
No.
Hell yeah.
It's not a big fat thing, but it's bigger than your phone.
Right on. Yeah, I think having that. Yeah, my phone, I'm definitely like, here we are, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, but I don't know what it is about this goofy fucking mobile game that has turned into like a weird obsession.
Is it the game that's drawing you and pulling you, or is it the community that you've now?
It's a combination of both. Because the game itself is cool. The way that you sort of strategize, like so having a goal. The thing about it is like the alliance that I'm in within our server, we're number one. We're on top, baby. You know what I mean? We're strong as fuck, right? So that's cool. In and of itself, right? Like winning all the time. Well, we don't win all the time. We got our asses kicked a couple times. But winning in some sort of aspect, being on top, having that like number one spot, that's cool in a sense, right? But even looking at like the way that like so for instance, server versus has its own strategies that you sort of apply throughout your time of playing, and that's been really cool. And watching other people like come together and work together has been really cool. Cause like, it's just, we're all like fucking random people from all different walks of life that have just sort of come together to like win and make stuff happen. And we're like trying our best. It's so weird and crazy. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know, but also the game itself, like I said, or I think it's a combination of both. Yeah. The game itself, the base building, all that sort of stuff is really cool. Fairly intricate. Obviously it's,
I was going to say, but the real question here, microtransactions.
It's horrible. It's one of those things where like, it's one of those things that has definitely, I can see, especially where I'm at now financially, where it's like, fuck man, I can't go spend like thousands of dollars or anything like that. It's one of those things where it's like, man, it sucks. It sucks when you're like going up against people and they're like, you can tell they've put some fucking serious money. I guess they're crypto bros or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And they're clearly just like dumping their fucking,
Dude, that just
wallet.
Destroys a mobile game immediately. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too. Like the thing I like about this game is that you can get away with a lot of stuff without having to pay. Like I've not really spent any money in this game. I did spend $1 or $2 so I get a profile picture.
I was gonna say I did play. Have you ever heard of AFK Arena?
Yeah, I have heard of that. Yeah,
that game was fun. And when I did start playing that, I don't remember how much it was, like $5 or $10. They had some little pack that's like first time you buy it or something. And
exactly.
It was a damn good deal.
The first time packs, man, I'm like, it's funny because there's one of them now that I'm like, I look back and like, man, I wish I actually would have bought that one because it would have helped me now if I had only known. Which is just so funny. But yeah, no, I like I said, I'm not really in a place where I can spend a lot of money anyways if I wanted to. but at the same time, it's like, man, it sucks, man. Like, obviously, there's people like in my alliance that I'm in that have spent some fucking, I don't know, I don't even want to know how much they've spent, right? But you can tell they spent some money.
So if they spend money on the game, does that boost your
it makes you, it absolutely makes you, well, I mean, if you as an individual are strong, yeah, it obviously helps you. Because every member contributes, but then also you can contribute extra if you spend money, right? So like with the versus thing, you have like your individual daily like contributions for that. Because you have like different goals that are set each day. Like one of the days is like you got to level up your heroes or whatever. And so obviously if you're spending money to buy the XP or whatever, yeah, of course you're gonna fucking outdo everyone around you, right? And so yeah, it definitely, it's one of those things where it's like if we were just getting shit on like every fucking day or every week or whatever, like if we were just outright losing every single day, I'd be like, fuck this game, I don't play this shit anymore.
Mm-hmm. But
the fact that it's team. Like we're on a decent, I wouldn't say we're winning because we definitely got humbled. We were the team that was like, yeah, we're winning every fucking day, we're winning every week, no one fucks with us, and then you get humble. It's like, all right, we gotta dial it down a bit. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's a weird thing. I never would have thought that I would have gotten so obsessed over such a fucking stupid, goofy mobile game, and here I am.
If you show up to QuakeCon next year with one of those racks with like 8 phones on it, so you can play this mobile game on 8 different accounts, we're gonna have an intervention.
No. Hopefully it won't be that. I don't think I feel like, because my thing is with mobile games is it's just like any other game that I play where it's like I'll play it for like 3 to 6 months and then be like, okay, I'm done. The one game that I did play for like almost a year was this mobile game called Illusion Connect. That game was so cool. I loved all the character designs. I liked all the way that the battling and all that shit worked. I actually spent money in that game. That's how much I liked it. And then they fucking shut it down at like the end of 2023. They just shut the whole thing down. I was like, what the fuck? I was so pissed, man. I was so pissed. Or was it into 2022 into 2023? It was. If
I did not have Slay the Spire, I would just whip out my Game Boy Advance SP and play Pokemon.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
That's the move, dude.
Fuck yeah. I was about to say, I'd probably, I have been playing my Switch when I go to my girlfriend's, but at the same time, I'm just like, I just want something different, man. Because I'm like, I can only play, I don't want to buy any new games. So I'm like, all right, let me just, but.
So when you delve into your backlog in your Steam, there's probably some gold in there you never even played.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of games in my Steam account that I've just never even touched. I was thinking about that the other day and I kind of have been doing that a little bit of playing old games that I haven't played in a while. But at the same time, I'm just like, like, I don't know. It's funny too, because I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this. I'm very used to having the ability to just like buy games that I want. Sparking Zero is like I want that game so bad right now. We were just talking about that earlier. But I don't have the ability, like, it's really not financially responsible for me to do that right now. I need to think about, like, eating, putting gas in my car, right? You know what I mean? That type of shit, right? Paying bills or whatever. Like, I don't have that sort of flexibility right now. And that's something that's, like, I haven't had, or I haven't had to deal with in a while. That's definitely, like, maybe it's affecting my mental health. I don't know. But it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I was used to it. Now I can't have that. It kind of sucks.
I mean, that's just one of those life cycles that I think most humans probably go through. You go through periods of having, a tighter belt and a looser belt. You're just in the tight period right now.
Yeah.
And then at some point in the future, you'll be sitting there looking back like, damn, look at all this money.
Oh, this money.
My successful podcast sponsored by this big mobile game and Dr. Pepper and the Hawk Tool girl herself.
Hell yeah. God damn. Yeah,
I had another thing.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Episode 9. We had a discussion, and I posed a question, and I've come to my answer. Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the kitchen with a candlestick.
We still definitely need to do the tier list. Oh, it's funny too, because I was actually looking for like an already made tier list. I think we're gonna have to make our own tier list of.
I mean, we're not plagiarizing. We're not fucking chat GPT.
No.
We're original content.
It's not because we would have. Well, what I'm saying is like I was trying to find a podcast of just like presidents that were already dead, but there's like none exist. It's like for whatever reason, So we'll have to like look at, because there's only what, like five, like 3, 4 presidents that are still alive now.
Yeah.
So
Dude, honestly, when I actually sat down and I was like, I want to do a bit for the episode where I say which president it is, I knew instantly I needed to find the answer to a question to determine what president caused it.
mm-hmm.
Weed's legal in most of the country, and that is Franklin Delano Roosevelt's fault.
Really?
1937, he signed a bill. I don't have that part in front of me. 1937, he signed a bill making it federally illegal.
Wow.
So
push him in his wheelchair down the fucking stairs. Fuck that guy.
You're gonna revive him, resuscitate him, smack him around a little bit. Then I'm gonna beat him with a candlestick in the kitchen, Clue style.
Clue style. Oh god. You ever seen Clue? The movie, the like 80s movie?
I was gonna say, isn't there multiple? I feel like there's multiple.
There probably are. I know the one.
I don't think I've ever seen any of them. I've played Clue.
The movie from the 80s is really good with I can't think of that actor's name. He's in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And a bunch of other movies.
Yeah, that guy with the name.
I love him so much. But he's that Clue, the movie itself is really good. I don't have any other expounding knowledge about it. I just like that movie.
Now let's talk more about Clue. You remember Colonel Mustard?
Do you remember the Colonel Mustard?
The Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was always my favorite as a kid. Just something about Doopy named Colonel Mustard. That's Colonel awesome. Mustard. I'm Colonel Mustard.
I'm Colonel Mustard. Yeah. I don't remember all the people's names from Clue.
It's the only one I remember. And there's a candlestick and a gun. Yeah. And I think a pipe.
Yeah.
Like a lead pipe.
I think there's a knife, a rope.
Rope. There was rope. Yeah. It was a little noose, dude.
I think there is a gun, if I remember correctly. I don't remember.
I mean, Clue was made in America.
Are we gonna end up playing Clue, but with just dead presidents?
Ooh, I like this idea. God. We'll do we'll record it and we can do tabletop simulator.
Yeah,
we'll play Clue and we'll mod the presidents in. The already dead presidents. We're making no threats or any statement on currently alive presidents or ex-presidents.
Yes, no.
But once their heart stops pumping, we're coming for them.
Once they're dead, that's when they go on. I'm not going to say they go on a list because we're probably going to end up on a list saying some shit like that.
No lists. It's all stored in our head.
Yes.
And then shared on the internet via this show.
God. Oh, man. Yeah, one of these days. Once we get the motivation to do that, for sure, because we definitely have talked about it for a couple weeks now, but we gotta get to it. That was the other thing I want to talk about too, is finding motivation. It's one of the things that I've been struggling with lately. For those of you who are TikTok TikTok's a whole other thing. Fuck TikTok. I'm really upset with TikTok. I feel like we got shadow banned or something on there because we just stopped getting any sort of traction on there. But for those of you who follow us on YouTube and like the short form content,
appreciate you.
Haven't put any out in a while. I haven't really been able to. I think what it is. So I do want to plug one thing within this. A friend of mine, Fables. Shout out to Fables. Twitch.tv/Fables. She's really cool. Making that shout out right now. But she kind of brought me and a bunch of my other roleplay friends together, and we did a tabletop game called 10 Candles, just kind of over Discord. I think I talked to you briefly about it, wanting to do it kind of during the spooky season, which is when we did it. We did ours like early in the month. And one of the things that ended up happening was I volunteered to edit the audio for it. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I could do it. It probably won't be that bad because I need to give some context too. I was also told that this was going to take like 3 hours. Like it was basically going to be like, okay, we have an hour of explanation. And then the total like time it would take to play the whole game would be like 3 hours. That's the time it's supposed to take. Right. This shit took 5.5, 6 hours to do. It was insane. So on top of having to edit a 6 hour long piece of audio with 6 different people's individual audios, I had
issues.
We also, we ran into the fact that I learned a very important lesson within editing, which is that if your video source, which is how I captured the master audio, is filmed at a different frame rate than your audio source, you're fucked. You're gonna end up having all sorts of difficulties with that because then it comes out of sync. So my master audio source was desynced from all the audio sources, so I had to sync them up, on their own, right? And then on top of that, my fucking headphones. I was wearing my my normal, like, I have these headphones for the Spotify users. There's some Sennheiser 660Ss. They're over the ear open back headphones. Were too loud, so then my mic picked it up, and my mic was like cutting out. And then another one of my friends that played, his audio was all crazy. Another one of my friends, her half of her audio was just lost for some reason. It just cut out during the recording. Oh my God, it was a disaster. So it was a pain in the ass. And I think that kind of big project really like killed all of my motivation for editing. Because every time I've opened up Resolve, which is the software that I use, I'm like, man, it just, I can't. I look at it, I'm like, I can't do this right now. I've set like days where I'm like, no matter what, I'm doing it. And it's fine. Like, the thing about it is like, once I get started, I can go. You know what I mean? But it's like getting started is always the hardest part.
That's how it is with most things in life, man.
Yeah, but I was gonna ask you. Okay. Oh
no.
I was gonna say I just wanted to pose the question of, when you get in that sort of feeling of like, man, I just can't find the motivation to do something. I can't, whatever that may be. What are some things that you end up doing in order to find that motivation, or to just get yourself to that starting point?
I don't know that I have a great answer for anything here. Think about like at work. Sometimes I have a really chill job. The majority of the time, it's kind of a thing where I'm there with my knowledge, and if I'm needed, I'm there. But sometimes I'm not really needed. Sometimes it's kind of boring. And then there's some tasks that are not time intensive. So those definitely get put off sometimes. Like, I could sit here and surf Reddit a little bit,
Yeah.
But then there's times when I'm sitting there surfing around, I'm like, dude, I gotta get this shit done. And you just kind of like mentally wrestle, like you just do it, just get the fuck up and do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, at work it's a lot easier because if I don't get my work done, I don't have a job and a house and a life. So it's easy to motivate yourself when you're hungry, I guess.
Yeah, true.
But with some other things, like, I don't know, like chores, man. I'm always one to put off chores, dude. Laundry, you can't wait till tomorrow, and then you don't have clean socks and you hate yourself for it. I don't think I'm the person to answer. We might need to ask our guest.
Leave a comment down below. What the fuck how the fuck do you motivate yourself?
So we brought this up to help spread the word, but we don't actually have an answer. So can y'all tell us, please?
Well, no, I actually really like what you just said there. Because that's true. I think there's sometimes when a problem presents itself in front of you, for instance, not being able to find the motivation and wanting to think about, how am I going to go about this? Like, there's certain things that I struggle with for motivation. I think editing clips, the main reason why I'm so like, I think finding the reason why you don't like doing the thing is kind of, it helps you sort of figure out why you're so demotivated to do it, right? For me with editing, a big part of like, I'm fine with doing work as long as I have something else that I can be doing, right? Like if I have like my phone, and I can like, scroll on like Twitter or whatever, or I can like watch TikToks, or if I have like a video, or a movie off on my other screen, and then I can do my main, set of work, or if I can listen to music, but with editing, it's like, I have to just do editing, because there's the video and there's the audio aspect. And that's like, it's just that's the only thing that I can have my focus on, which kind of sucks. Right. And I think that aspect of it is what kind of makes it a little bit hard to get that motivation in, to be like, okay, I need to do this. I need to just only focus on this thing, because I have such a hard time focusing on just one thing. And I think maybe that's a part of it, is finding what it is that makes it so hard to get to that starting point. But I think, the other thing is too, is obviously there's like, different things that go on in your life that can, sort of drag you down, makes it a little bit harder to, decide to make things happen. If you're, for me right now, not having a job, and one of the things that has been very demotivating, or very demoralizing, I should say, is rejection. When I get, I apply to, however many jobs a week, right? And at this point, I fucking lost count to how many jobs I've applied to. And when I get those emails, and it's like, oh yeah, we appreciate you applying, but we're gonna not choose you. That's one of those things that's sort of demoralizing. And I think being demoralized so much makes it hard for me to go, well, what's the point of like, applying for anything else, right? Like I'm, you know, it's like, why would I even bother? But at the same time, it's like, you're right. You know, if I'm hungry or if I'm like, you know, fuck, I can't, for me, it's like, I can't buy the video games that I want to buy. Man, yeah, of course I'm going to go out and fucking apply for some shit,
I don't care
right?
if I'm hungry. I need that Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah, dude, I need fucking Sparking Zero, baby. But yeah, I don't know. I was just curious if you had any sort of insight about that.
I feel like we both said that we didn't know, and then we answered it. And if we circle this, we can find the answer in what we just said, which is a fancy way of saying, "Here's what I'm about to say."
Work it out. Okay.
It's the goals.
Yeah.
In both of our scenarios, it's, you know, when I don't want to do that, not that I have these tasks at work that are not time sensitive, but they really do need done at some point. Otherwise, they just pile up. And it's, you know, I don't want my boss getting upset with me. I don't want to fall behind and then have to do a bigger truckload of work later. Or for you, you don't want to edit, but you know that once you get going and get started, it'll flow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I think you might do this. This is definitely something that I do specifically lately with Satisfactory. Just last night I did this actually. If I make dinner and eat, then I can play more Satisfactory.
Yeah. Hell
so
yeah.
maybe, do you do something like that for editing? Or because I know you don't want to do it because you can't focus on other things, but do you think about what you can do afterwards?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I think about, so like with the episode, it's really good that I think the way that you've worded that. Like with editing the episodes, right? So it's very easy for me to, let's say I you know, let's say like, you know, today or tonight, I should say, you know, we'll upload stuff. I'll get all the, I basically make sure that everything's in one file and ready to go for tomorrow when I'll edit. And I can do the edit. Like I have it down so well that I can do everything within about an hour and a half. And that's like making the audio, making the video, putting all the assets together, like making sure that everything's all synced up. And, you know, if I have to make any cuts or if I have to, you know, do whatever, all that stuff's pretty easy to do. And I can do it pretty efficiently. I think what it is that like with short form content, it's like there's extra steps. I have to put subtitles in there. I have to go through and find the clips that I need. And I've gotten a very good system of like how I go through to find the clips that I need and then separate them all out and then set myself up for success, right? Like they call that, like a lot of times in like the videos that I've watched about editing, they call that your workflow, right? And so setting yourself up for success is a big thing and kind of being proactive about things. And that's kind of how I am now with a lot of things. Like I make sure that like with my grocery shopping, for instance, like I don't want to, I don't mind having to go out to the store because it's like kind of a break. I can go out and, you know, drive to wherever, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I get like all the shit that I need to get. So that way, if I don't feel like going to the store, I already have fucking here. Right. So like being proactive about like making sure I have like make a list of like things that you need. Yeah. And then, you know, if you end up picking, you're like, oh man, you know what? I do need this. And, you know, you end up getting an extra thing or two. But like the idea of like trying to be proactive, trying to make a list or however you want to do it, because some people don't do well with lists. I know with me, like
big list guy. I'm a list guy.
I will only make lists for specific things. Usually the lists involve like needing to remind myself of something. For instance, with like the lolcow episode that we did last week, I made a list, but I made that list with just like the list of names and then like bullet points that would help me remember, you know, about the people and or the individuals involved. But yeah, I think trying to be proactive, trying to get ahead of things, making it easier. I think that's another thing too, is like when I did the 10 Candles edit, I didn't have anything prepared for the next set of like short form content. So then I was like, fuck man, I just got through with this big fucking edit that took basically like 3 days. Now I have to fucking do more editing to prep for all this other shit that I have to do. And it's like I have to go through this whole process, and that is usually something I will dedicate a full day to or like a full editing session to. And it's just, oh man, it's been hard to fucking. But now I'm at that point where like I already know tomorrow I'm gonna do a bunch of editing, because I'll already be in that kind of mode to do it from doing the. Because usually whenever we record, that like something in my brain kind of clicks where it's like, oh, I need to edit tomorrow, and it's just I'm already ready. So,
is it? It sounds like you're similar to me with lists and planning.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to have this thing like if you ever worked in fast food or retail, like specifically when I was at Pizza Hut and Best Buy as well, if if my schedule said I'm supposed to work 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., my mind from the moment I wake up is geared for that. Good to go. I'm going to work this shift. No problem. No worries. Then when the closing person calls out and the boss would say, oh, can you work for 2-3 more hours? Those 2 or 3 hours were the most brutal for me. It was like, I shouldn't be here. I didn't plan for this. Fuck you. But there was other times where the manager would tell me ahead of time, like, we're going to be fucked on Saturday. I desperately need help. Can you help? And I'm like, dude, put me on the schedule 12 hours. That's fine. If I go in ahead of time knowing I'm doing this for 12 hours, fucking easy mode, dude.
Yeah.
So, and then like the lists that, not exactly related, but it sounds like if you have your list ahead of time and then you plan to go into it, it sounds like it's a lot easier for you than if you're sitting there randomly and you're just like, I should edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely once I have like my projects open, it almost acts as my list because everything is set up the way that I need to have it set up. All the assets are where they need to be, and I can kind of go, okay, I need to put this here and blah, blah, blah. Funny that you mentioned, like, I was going to ask, like, are you the type of person that, like, I know that when we've made plans, it's usually through your wife, but are you the type of person that you would rather know ahead of time, or, you know, is there some sort of, are you okay with like spontaneity? Because I'm the type of person who, like, I want to, like, if I'm planning to go do something, like with the Halloween party that we talked about, I want to know that shit like minimum a week in advance, right? I preferably, I like knowing 2 weeks, right? So that gives me plenty of time. I like a 2 weeks advance notice, right? I'm really not a fan of spontaneity. I can do it every once in a while, but it's very rare that I'm like, hey, let's go do this. Like, let's go, you know, whatever. Let's go see a movie or let's go out to dinner or whatever. I'm usually like, I want to know ahead of time that we're going to do this, right? Are you the type of person that can enjoy spontaneity, or is it all just planned out?
I think spontaneity probably purely comes down to my interests. If you were to tell me one of your favorite bands is in town tonight, do you want to go spontaneously? Hell yes, every single time.
Right.
But for most things, I much prefer a schedule. And then just to touch on a point that you said, my wife does do basically all of my scheduling in my life, but that's not because I'm incapable of it by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really good at planning and logistics of things. Yeah. How many QuakeCon trips did I plan before my wife was around? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, true.
But her thing is she's so much more social than me. Like we talked about earlier, she's so many friends. There's always a dinner with somebody, a movie with somebody coming up. Somebody's coming over to hang out or have dinner, watch a movie, something. So when you reach out to me and you're like, hey, let's do this thing, I say, you just talk to my wife because she can tell you exactly when we're free.
She can tell you what's on the calendar.
Because if you're asking me, I'm sadly going to have to go to my wife and say, hey, babe, we have plans on Saturday. It got so bad. We have this app that has a calendar, like a shared calendar.
Oh, no shit.
Everybody, since I've told about these, like, you ever heard of Google Calendar? Well, fuck you, no. We have a special app, and it's a lifesaver because it has a calendar. She puts everything on there. I have shit, whatever. We can see each other's stuff. And then it also has lists. It has a whole section for lists. I'm telling you, I love lists, Silas. You can probably roughly gauge how stressed I am as an overall indicator of life by how much list making I'm doing.
Oh, interesting.
Because like specifically, this came to my mind the week leading up to QuakeCon recently. We had the episode, the Lamb of God episode. I had to do a lot of planning for that, and then I had plenty of stuff to get done and logistics to get ready for QuakeCon, bringing friends in, getting my son situated, etc., etc., etc. Dude, I made lists I made a list like a week in advance by the day. Like on Monday, I've got to do this. Got to do this. Tuesday, got to do this. Do this. That's like the only way I can really keep myself organized when I'm really stressed, and I'll get kind of panicked, like, oh, it's so much I can't get it done. But if I just have a list, do this item, then this item, and this item, life will be okay.
Yeah, definitely being able to like cross something out and be like, okay, that's done. It definitely like, oh, take a breath. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to fucking plan anything.
I'm just a big baby. Yeah, I gotta ask my mommy if I can play.
I know by now, at least by this point in our friendship, to usually probably check with your wife because it's a lot easier. Because she let me tell you, your wife is constantly doing something. I don't think I've ever once talked to that woman and she's been like, yeah, we're just not doing anything. Like, no, something's planned. Something's happening.
If you give her a date in the near future, there is a high probability something's already planned.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, I mean, I'm fine with it for the most part. I am a little bit more antisocial, but, you know, I love her, and, like, she has fun. That's it. Seeing her have fun makes me happy, really, most of the time. Not most of the time. Like, I don't enjoy it sometimes. Just the going out can be stressful.
For sure. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm very glad that my girlfriend is not as social. You know, I mean, I think that she and I have, I do like socializing a lot more, but she and I have the same sort of, like, I guess, in person sociability. Like we're both like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go do these things. Like, and we're also kind of both like, or at least I am more like, I want to plan it out. I want things to be like, I want to know in advance. If I know in advance, it just gives me time to, like, mentally prepare to be like, all right, I'm going to go see a bunch of fucking people. Like, I'm going to go be around all these people. And then usually by the time, like, I actually get to the event, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm ready to go. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
It's always, you just got to start. I think that's the answer to everything we've said. Just start. Just do it.
There you go. That's the title. You just got to start right there.
Dude, I'm going to plug a song really quick. It's by the band called Psycho Stick. You ever heard of Psycho Stick?
No.
They had a song that was popular on our local radio many years ago, and the lyrics are just like, let's go drink some beer. You ever hear that?
I don't know.
Okay, that's
I feel like if I heard it, I might.
You might. Yeah. Okay. They have a song called Adulting. I'm going to recommend anybody check it out, specifically if you can watch the video. It's really great, but the song by itself, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically everything we just talked about today. One of the lyrics is like, I've had enough adulting. Says something today. Let the bills pile up to the ceiling while I eat chicken strips and pay Battletoads.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, fucking Battletoads, man. Oh man. That was fucking great.
All right. Are we at that time
for the day? I think we are. I think we've made it to that point. So we're gonna try something new, based off of the.
We're taking our shirts off.
We're taking our shirts off. Here we go.
Sorry, audio listeners.
Yeah. Make sure you check us out on YouTube.
And Spotify.
One of the things that we talked about doing, we're gonna trial run this. So in the last episode, check it out, episode 10 of Time Well Meant. We talked about lolcows, and I went over quite a few. I think we ended up going, like, the final count was like 11, maybe. I think we would talk about 11 different people. Something like that. Yeah, we talked about quite a few. And it was brought up, like, you know, it was actually Kirby's idea about if you wanted to, like, talk about them more. Like, if you want to just, like, bring, like, I have, like, a little segment during the podcast and talk about it. So I figure we'll wrap up. And if you missed episode 10, and, you know, this is your first episode you're watching, the way that we did it last time was I had Kirby pick a number. 1 through we had 26, a list of 26. This time the list is, I believe, 15. Yes, I'm correct. And so we're gonna do the same thing. Kirby's gonna pick a number, and then I'll just kind of riff for a little bit about these goofy fucking people. So let me know. It could be horrible. It could be the most awful thing. It could be the worst way to end this shit.
Could be wholesome and uplifting.
Could be amazing and wonderful.
Okay, but
I will say I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to give, like, a brief overview. Okay.
So. But so we're doing this segment. Do we have, like, a jingle for it? Is the editor going to put in a little jingle? Do we have a clever name? No. That's the thing. A segment needs a name, man. You ever watched anything?
Lolcow Lane. There you go. That's what we're calling it right now. We're on Lolcow Lane. We're going to take a little stroll. Now,
I love it. Okay, hold on.
Kirby just has to pick the direction we're walking.
I got it. You ready?
Which store are we going into?
Take a stroll with us to the Lolcow Lane. Number 7.
Bam, bam. Number 7. Oh, man. This is a good one. Okay, and so, of course, I have pictures accommodating with this. The pictures are not numbered the same as they were before, so I have to find this person. But this is another female lolcow. This is a woman. God damn, did I not get a picture of her? I actually might have not gotten a picture of her. I will find a picture of her.
Give me a name. I got Google it.
Her name is Foodie Beauty. Okay. I can't believe I didn't get a picture. That's really funny that I didn't get a picture of her. Anyways, Foodie Beauty is
chin.
She is a.
Actually, she got a hell of chin. She got a lot of chin.
She got that powerful chin right there, boy. I tell you what. Foodie Beauty is a YouTuber that I want to say that she sort of had a similar start as Amberlynn Reed, where she kind of started out wanting to do diet YouTubing, and then it's just now become just all around mukbanging. For those of you who don't know, mukbangs are of Korean origin. It's basically eating. There's a lot of psychology behind mukbangs and why they have become so significant within society nowadays. A lot of it is the social interaction that comes with eating with people. And so it's become a very popular genre. The idea that whenever you sit down to eat, you are sitting down to eat with somebody. It's a communal thing. It's, something that we've done for eons, right? Since the beginning of our species, right? And so one of the things that has happened is this rise in popularity of mukbangs and mukbang content and these mukbang content creators. And Foodie Beauty is one of those. However, a lot of the times with mukbang YouTubers, you have different varieties of them, right? You have ones that are silent. They're just there. They eat the food. It's all about the sound. If you like eating sounds, I guess that's a cool thing. Sure. Since a lot of people don't, some people do. I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent to it. But you also have people who will tell stories. There's one mukbanger that I believe her name is Stephanie Sue, and she does like true crime mukbangs where she basically will talk about true crime while she's doing a mukbang. There are people who will, that's like they just have a topic that they talk about. Or there are people like Foodie Beauty who talk about their day. They talk about their life. They talk about what's going on. They update people. It's sort of a social conversation that's happening, right? However, the conversation with Foodie Beauty is fucking awful. She is a terrible human being who constantly just like lies about things. She's constantly just kind of like shitting on people for no particular reason. If she sees you as an enemy, she is probably targeting you and shining a negative light on you. And she's also just kind of a really fucking gross person in terms of like, she's done a lot of like farting on camera while she's like eating a big meal, which I don't know about you. If you're ripping ass at the dinner table, a little weird, kind of gross. And she also
I wouldn't personally.
Well,
and then post it on the internet. And
then post it on the internet. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing. The other one too is the fact that she talks about really like, we've all heard the term of like TMI. A lot of the stories that she tells are TMI. There is a very specific story that I have of her. She talked about going on a date through a dating app, and then the guy that ended up picking her up clearly wasn't that interested, but somehow she managed to get her, like she somehow managed to, I think because it was like the date was like an hour away and she didn't have a ride home. He was a real nice guy and said, "Hey, I can offer for you to stay at my place overnight, I guess." And at one point in time, I think that she ended up getting in there and she got really drunk and kind of made an ass for herself. And the guy also had like another like person that was living with him. And they were both like, "Hey, so are you going to leave?" And she was like, "No." And then at one point in time, she was like so drunk that like she ended up shitting herself. And it was like really bad. And because she couldn't find the bathroom apparently. And so she was like trying to figure it out and couldn't find anything to clean it up with. Couldn't find the bathroom. Couldn't wash herself off. So she just kind of like took stuff off and then just left. And just left a mess in these strangers' apartments.
The worst Tinder date ever.
Exactly. I want to say that she was married or it's her boyfriend. It's this African guy that like their relationship is the most non-loving thing ever. They definitely don't seem to really have much in common other than the fact that they like, and like she's one of those people that's like tried to put him on camera. And he clearly doesn't want to be on camera. You can kind of just tell, like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to talk to you. And then she also still hangs out with her ex-boyfriend a lot, who it just so happens to be her best friend. That you can tell this man is still in love with her. For some reason, he is still very much in love with her. But it's like it's a one-sided set of feelings. You know what I mean? It's a weird dynamic, and their whole her husband and then the best friend. It's a weird like kind of love triangle that also does, where like the husband doesn't really love the wife and then the ex-boyfriend really loves the wife but she doesn't love him. It's a really weird thing, man. Foodie Beauty is a weird one, man.
Okay, so a couple questions. First of
Yes.
all, if you use the term mukbang, is that
Uh-huh.
exclusively like a gluttonous amount of food? That's how I always picture it.
No, no. So originally it was just a meal. It was literally like you're just eating a meal. I think kind of it became a trend to eat as much food as humanly
Like the
possible.
whole
But I
Taco
want
Bell
to say,
menu.
yeah. It's like, you see people eating like, 5 pounds of noodles or some crazy shit, right? All in one sitting. Um, I think initially how it started, it was literally just people sitting down, they order themselves some food and they sit there and eat. That's all they do. They eat and talk to the camera. Um, oh, I can't remember the Korean streaming site that this got really popular on. But the idea again was like, it's just like there was this, as the generation of the internet has gone and progressed, there's a lot of people that are isolating themselves. There's a lot of people that are, not spending a lot of time in the real world, and they need that sort of connection that they want. And the best way that they can find it is some place that they're comfortable in, which is the internet itself. And again, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of truth to the fact that we are a communal species. We are a species that whether you like it or not, you do need social interaction. And a part of that social interaction, a big part of where you can get that from is eating together, sitting down at the dinner table with your family, being around people. You talk about, what a lot of people do socially. They go out to dinner, they go out to eat. It's a thing. It's a tribal thing. It's a communal thing. It's something that we've done for, like I said, bajillions
Everybody
of years.
eats.
And so I think initially it started with like a very small, a small group or a smaller meal where it's just like a normal meal. It's just people sitting down eating. And then I think it has become like this like extremely gluttonous over consumption insanity that it is now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah.
So with the foodie beauty, dude, that's harder than particularly paranormal phenomena. With Foodie Beauty, she started off on the path, like she started YouTubing or putting out videos because she was gonna go on like a weight loss journey.
I want to say that, and this is one where it's like I haven't caught up with her in a long time, so
Gotcha.
I want to say that that's correct, but I could be wrong. I could be mixing Amberlynn Reed and her. She may have been just like a normal person who just like started it as a mukbanger, but she was already like when she started, she was already like she's a heavy set woman, and she is already a heavy set woman when she started.
Did she ever make any progress, or was it just?
I want to say that she has done a little bit of weight loss stuff, but it never pans out.
And then what is she posting these days?
It's the same thing. So a lot of what ends up happening with lol cows is that they fall into this vicious cycle of like, she's getting trolled, so then she posts about the trolls, right? And it's these people it's always the same people that are just hate watching her and like,
Get trolled more.
And then she's an asshole to them. And like, she says like really disgusting shit sometimes. And then it's just this vicious cycle of like, and then everything kind of calms down. And then she gets riled up again, right? Or like she says that she's going to change, or she's going to do something different with her content or whatever. But no, it never happens. It's always like people will point out weird shit that she always like contradicts herself about, or she's I can't think of the fucking word. Kind of a do as I say, not as I do type of person, but then she's always the one doing the thing that she's saying not to do constantly. Very self-serving, very like blame anyone but herself type of person. Again, when I talk about lolcows, a lot of the times you should not feel any sort of pity for a lot of these people. You can go out and like look up videos about Foodie Beauty and you'll see she is a bit of a deplorable person. Obviously not as deplorable as some of the other people that are on this list that I have here, but she is definitely one of those people that like, ugh, you know what I mean? Ugh.
It comes back. They all come back to the exact same thing. Just stop.
Being able to get off the internet. Yeah, no, it never.
Stop.
Nope. They can't. I don't know what it is. I really
can't stop, won't
don't know what it is. Can't stop, won't stop.
Lolcow's gonna.
Lolcow's gonna lol. I don't know.
Gonna lol.
It's a very odd world. It's a very odd thing. Very odd phenomena. Very odd.
Isn't it kind of beautiful though? That such weird people exist.
Yeah.
And we get to enjoy them because of long wires all over the planet.
It's one of those things that, especially with some of the more niche lolcows, a lot of them end up going off grid, and you just don't hear from them. And then when they come back, it's like, oh, we get to see what's happening. it's just very interesting. It's really cool and really interesting to kind of see like, oh shit, okay, here we go. All right, that's cool.
Damn.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know, very weird, very odd, but I love it. Yeah, I'm super addicted still. I still every single day, not every single day, but most days, like I will at least have like one video that's involved with lolcow content.
How do you find this? I guess your algorithm attacks you with this stuff at this point.
You know, I going back to the episode 10, you know, Chris Chan was like the first one. Like I found that, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know where or how my algorithm kind of hit me with like, I think a lot of it, what it is that, okay, I can actually dissect this. I'm a big fan of the commentary community, which the commentary community is kind of exactly what it says it is. It's people making commentary on different topics, right? Whether that be political commentary, whether that be social commentary, whether that be media commentary, however you want to look at it, right? And a lot of the videos that I was watching or that I have been watching are usually like these diaries of, or not diaries, they're these video essays about individuals that are just kind of on the internet, whether they're a positive force for the internet or they are a negative force for the internet. And I think watching those sorts of videos, there's a channel called The Right Opinion, and he was the first time, you know, we talked last week about the bidet. He was the first time I was introduced. Like I would have never been introduced to that guy if it wasn't for The Right Opinion. And that guy, like, man, he has these like super long, super in-depth video essays. And for me, they just hit. It's like the right thing at the right time. It's what I needed right then and there. Of course, this was all during like the COVID pandemic, so it's not like I was doing much else. But man, he was just hitting with those videos, and it opened this door. Now it's opened this can of worms where I sort of have like walked down this path of like, you know, finding people like the Grease Wizard, or finding Smokey MCC, or finding Kiwi Tapes, like all these cracky, wacky people, like, you know what I mean? Just these goofy motherfuckers that all they talk about is lolcows, right? And it's weird how it's happened. And some of these videos, man, are really well made. You know, like I will say, like Smokey MCC and Kiwi Tapes, they're more like, let me update you on what we know now, right? Let me give you everything that we know right now. But there are other people who have made like very long form, in depth. Let me talk about from point A to point B, you know, where we are now, covering these people. It's why I say, like, I'm not going to sit here and just like expound for an hour about one individual lolcow, because you can just look these names up and you are going to find a plethora of content. And I really genuinely mean that. You will find, you know, just crazy videos.
Too much. You'll find more info than you want.
Yes, absolutely.
On every single one.
I have given a lot of the details that I've given are usually pretty base level, pretty surface level coverage, which is, and that's, you know, for a reason. I think that if you want to learn more about these people, go out and do the research, go out and look them up. You know, not to say that I won't give you the information. It's just that I think it's better to go out and explore for yourself, to test your, if you just want a little taste, that's fine. I can give you that.
He'll give you a sample, but he won't sell you the whole plate. That's for him.
No, you gotta go cook that yourself. You know what I mean? Oh shit, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or you want to just? I think that was it. That was a good.
I don't think so, man.
All
Happy
right.
Halloween.
Well, shit, man. Happy Halloween. Yeah. As of we are recording this right now, on the spoopy day itself. But obviously, when this comes out, it'll be like the 2nd of November or some shit. So happy Halloween. Hope y'all are safe. Go out and vote if you haven't already.
Please.
Fucking get out there. We love y'all. Thank you for watching. I would check to see if there was anything else in the agenda. But I think, and I think about this a lot. Yeah. I think that we can both agree that was time well meant.
I have been dialed in to this drama.
Haktua.